Our mission today is, well, it's pretty unusual.
It really is.
We received sources detailing a content creator's state visit to China. Okay, fine. But alongside the president of Ghana.
Yeah.
And this isn't just, travel content or celebrity stuff. It's this amazing juxtaposition, personal success meeting, international diplomacy.
Right.
So we're doing a deep dive into how one person's incredible journey basically intersected with Ghana's highest national strategy.
It's a fascinating set of sources we've got, and we're essentially pulling two main threads here for you.
Okay.
First, there's this, almost unbelievable transformation. You've got a young African traveler going from someone who literally faced deportation to becoming a recognized diplomat.
Incredible.
I've been arrested, deported, because of the passport that I use, right? So I guess this time around, no more deportation, no more arresting. And I believe that it will enable me to do better and bigger with what I do.
And then the second thread is unpacking Ghana's really high-stakes political and economic messages playing out on the world stage.
Particularly around reparations and the whole trade relationship with China, right?
Exactly. Really critical stuff.
And the thing that ties these two threads together is just, well, it's phenomenal. The key event. This content creator gets an actual diplomatic passport. It's conferred under Ghana's NLCD 155. That's the Passports and Travel Certificates Decree from way back in 1967.
With the powers conferred on me under NLCD 155, which is the Passports and Travel Certificates Decree of 1967, these 5 very special Africans are going to receive diplomatic passports from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So number 1 on the list is the interesting young man, Wode. Wode, number 1 on the list.
And that decree, NLCD 155, that's the legal mechanism, right?
Yeah.
It allows the president to actually confer diplomatic status. It's the official stamp that makes this extraordinary honor formal.
And then, straight away, his first assignment is accompanying the president on a state visit to Beijing.
Which is just the poetry of it. Because Beijing, the destination for his first official diplomatic trip, that's the exact same country where his whole journey kicked off 14 years before.
Okay, we have to unpack that original journey then, because the starting line wasn't exactly diplomacy, was it? It sounds more like sheer survival, almost.
Pretty much. We're talking 14 years ago. He's just 18.
Right.
And the flight ticket alone, Ghana to China, cost $2,000.
Yeah.
Now, our sources really emphasize this. Back in 2012, $2,000 was a massive, life-changing amount of money.
Absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And he didn't have it.
No. His father was, understandably, hesitant about the whole thing. But then this figure, a man he just calls Uncle Bands, steps into the picture.
Okay.
And Uncle Bands basically convinces the dad to let him go. And, crucially, puts up the $2,000 for that first ticket.
Wow. So it was a real leap of faith funded by a family friend.
Totally. And you have to remember the context. The stakes were incredibly high for him personally because of his past struggles.
Yeah, you mentioned deportation.
Exactly. He'd been arrested and deported before while traveling, apparently because of issues with the passport he was using back then.
I've been arrested, deported, because of the passport that I use, right?
So just think about that starting point. Arrested, deported, relying on someone else's $2,000 just to get on a plane.
And the contrast with the current trip, it's just stark, especially when you look at the transit through Dubai.
Okay, what happened there?
Well, on that first trip to China, he remembers being detained in the Dubai airport for nearly 2 hours. Just because the authorities thought he looked too young to travel alone, they literally asked him, where's your mom and dad, kid?
Oh, man, that feeling of being under suspicion, intensely questioned.
Right, just for traveling.
Yeah.
And now he comes back through Dubai's massive Terminal 3, same airport.
Yeah.
Pulls out the Ghanaian diplomatic passport and just steps out of the airport, completely visa-free.
Wow, that's such a powerful symbol. Sovereign backing, global respect, all in one passport stamp. Or lack thereof, I guess.
It is. But what's really crucial here, and the sources make this clear, is that while we're talking about this amazing individual story, it didn't happen in a vacuum.
Right. It wasn't just him alone.
Not at all. It's really a testament to this powerful network. Financial support, emotional support, It all played a part.
Okay, so that's where the story of his Chinese friend, Aoi, comes in.
Exactly. So after he gets to China, starts his media work, he gets this idea for a huge trip across Africa. Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. First big phase.
Ambitious, but needed cash, presumably.
Right. Needing capital. And his Chinese friend, Aoi, just stepped up. Loaned him $5,000. Put it on his own personal credit card.
Get out, seriously. $5,000 on a credit card for his friend's dream project.
Seriously, that credit card debt basically became the seed funding for what would become this Pan-African media presence. It's an incredible act of, like, cross-cultural trust.
That financial risk was key then. It let him start, as he put it, projecting Africa to the world.
Absolutely instrumental.
And the support didn't stop there, right? He talks about Africans he met globally.
Yes, and that global support, especially from fellow Africans he encountered, seems to have triggered a really powerful shift in his identity.
How so?
He actually noted, I cannot call myself a Ghanaian any longer. I need to call myself African.
Wow.
So this journey, which started with one ticket paid for by a family friend, quickly grew into something much bigger, a sort of Pan-African statement built on all this mutual support and connection he found.
That's quite a journey. Overcoming suspicion, relying on these global networks?
It really is. And it almost serves as a metaphor, doesn't it? If his struggle was against bureaucratic hurdles and finding funding, Ghana's mission in Beijing, led by the president, was about fighting a rigged international system on a much bigger scale.
Okay, yeah, good point. So if the diplomatic passport is like his personal economic freedom symbol,
Yeah.
let's zoom out. Let's talk about the macro-level challenges Ghana faces and how the president used this China visit.
Right. So the president was there because he was invited by President Xi Jinping personally to the Global Leadership Conference on Women.
And he was the only African president invited.
The only one, which gave him a pretty exclusive platform.
And he used it to push Ghana's big political arguments, building on what he'd said before, like at the UN General Assembly.
Yeah, he was incredibly consistent, especially on historical justice.
So first big issue, reparations. And he didn't mince words, did he?
Not at all. Zero ambiguity. The president stated very clearly, the slave trade must be recognized as the greatest crime against humanity.
Madam President, the slave trade must be recognized as the greatest crime against humanity. As the African champion on reparations, Ghana intends to introduce a motion in this August body to that effect. More than 12.5 million Africans were forcibly taken against their will and transported to create wealth for the powerful Western nations. We must demand reparations for the enslavement of our people and the colonization of our land that resulted in the theft of our natural resources, as well as the looting of artifacts and other items of cultural heritage that have yet to be returned in total.
Period.
Strong words and practical steps.
Ghana intends to actually introduce a formal motion for reparations. They're citing the 12.5 million Africans forcibly taken, plus the ongoing theft of resources and cultural artifacts that came with colonization.
But the point that really hits hard, the one that sort of exposes the hypocrisy, is the historical precedent he brought up.
Oh, yeah. That was powerful. He pointed out that back in the day, colonizing governments did recognize the financial value of lives and land. They paid reparations. Right. But they paid them to the former slave owners for the loss of their property.
Unbelievable. It just drives home where the system placed the value.
Exactly. The value is always recognized, it seems. But the system historically rewarded the perpetrators, not the victims. It raises profound questions.
Okay, so demanding this kind of justice on a global stage is huge politically, but is it purely about the moral argument, or is it also maybe political leverage? A way to spotlight these ongoing neocolonial systems, even if immediate cash isn't expected?
I think that's a fair analysis. The sources suggest it functions as both. It's partly leverage, absolutely, but it's also framed as a fundamental demand for rebalancing the scales.
Right.
And the president directly links this history to today's economic structure. He argues the system is still rigged against Africa.
Which sounds exactly like Kwame Nkrumah's prediction, right? Moving from old colonialism to new colonialism.
But precisely. It's a direct echo. And look at the examples. Raw materials.
Yeah.
Ghana exports cocoa, gold, key stuff.
Yeah.
Yet Europe, where cocoa doesn't even grow, Europe sets the price it buys at. Then they manufacture chocolate or whatever and sell it back to Africa at vastly inflated prices.
It's a classic cycle of value extraction. Sell cheap, buy dear.
Exactly. A systemic problem.
And you mentioned infrastructure earlier.
No.
These colonial patterns are literally built into the ground.
They are. The president highlighted this with the old railway lines. They only run from resource areas inland straight to the ports.
Built for one purpose, getting stuff out, extraction.
Right. Not for connecting African countries to trade with each other. And this is the huge bottleneck for the African Continental Free Trade Area, the ACFTA.
Ah, okay. So we have this agreement, FCFTA, for free trade within Africa.
We do. Duty-free, tariff-free trade is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
But if the roads, the railways, the ports, if they only support that old north-south extraction model and not east-west trade within the continent,
then FCFTA can't reach its potential. You need the physical links.
Exactly. The infrastructure for real intra-African commerce just isn't there yet, not on the scale that's needed.
And the urgency here is underlined by demographics, isn't it? The president keeps making this point.
He does. It's a powerful argument. The future is African, demographically speaking. By 2050, a quarter of the entire world's population.
25%.
And maybe even more striking, 1/3 of the whole world's youth aged 15 to 24 will be living on the African continent.
That's staggering. Africa is the future workforce.
It is. And the message is clear. The world needs to start dealing with Africa on equal, sovereign terms, because that's where the future growth is.
Okay, so that demographic weight, that future potential, must have informed the talks with China then.
Absolutely. That's the strategic lever. So, shifting back to the Beijing visit, the discussions moved beyond just the big political statements. They got into practical Pan-African steps and, importantly, debt relief.
Right. Ghana's been quite forward-thinking on Pan-Africanism already, haven't they? ECOWAS, the West African bloc.
Yeah, West Africa has been functionally borderless for movement for decades under ECOWAS 90 days visa-free. But the president took it a step further.
How so?
He enacted a regulation that allows any African passport holder from anywhere on the continent to get a visa on arrival in Ghana.
Oh, interesting. So really trying to encourage that continental movement and business.
That's the idea, leading by example.
And China's role. You mentioned debt relief.
Yes, China played a very specific and apparently very helpful role for Ghana's economy recently. They co-chaired Ghana's bilateral creditor committee.
What does that mean, practically?
It means they were key negotiators, helping Ghana deal with its international debts. And their involvement helped Ghana secure its G20 debt treatment framework approval.
Okay.
In what was called record time, apparently the fastest ever.
And why is record time so important? Is it just about speed?
Well, speed matters because it means faster relief from crushing debt payments. That frees up government money, almost immediately, money that can then go to health, education, infrastructure, essential stuff.
Right, and it boosts confidence. Stability.
Exactly. Market confidence, stability, it all helps.
Okay, so that's the debt side. What about future trade? This seems really strategic.
Highly strategic. This is where Ghana is pushing hard with China. They're negotiating for a 0% tariff policy.
0% tariffs for African countries exporting goods to the Chinese market.
That's the goal. Imagine what that could do for African manufacturers. Access to that enormous market, tariff-free.
That would be a game changer. But there's always a but, isn't there? What's the catch? Or the hurdle?
The massive practical hurdle, and it loops right back to infrastructure and systems, is standards.
Standards, meaning quality control.
Exactly. To actually use zero tariffs effectively, Ghanaian products have to meet Chinese standards. And China has incredibly strict quality requirements.
Ah, so it's not just signing a trade deal.
Not even close.
Yeah.
It means Ghana's own standards body. The Ghana Standards Authority has to basically align everything. Product safety, food processing, certifications, environmental rules, the works. They need to harmonize with Chinese requirements.
That sounds like a complete overhaul of quality assurance across multiple sectors.
It is. It's huge.
Yeah.
But necessary if you want to export successfully into that market.
It's a massive undertaking, but you can see the strategy behind it all.
Oh, yeah. It's crystal clear. They want to position Ghana as the gateway to Africa.
The investment hub, particularly for Asian investors looking to get into the continent.
Precisely. And they're arguing they have the foundation. They point to the expanded port, phases 1 and 2 done, apparently ranked top 10 in Africa already. And the president's pitch is basically the economy stabilizing, interest rates and inflation are coming down. Now's the time. Invest here, manufacture here, export from here.
So we've really traced this incredible arc, haven't we?
We have.
From an 18-year-old kid being questioned in an airport relying on a $5,000 credit card loan to start his dream. Fast forward, and he's back in China, but this time as a diplomat. Standing alongside his president, who's demanding justice for historical crimes and fighting for Ghana's economic future.
It's quite the story. And I think the essential lesson here for you, the listener, is kind of complex but really powerful.
What's the takeaway?
Well, personal determination, definitely.
Yeah.
And having that crucial support network, like the friend with the credit card, that's vital for individual success. We saw that clearly.
Yeah.
That individual drive has to be matched by serious, high-level continental policy. Policy that tackles the systemic injustices, that fixes the infrastructure problems left over from colonialism.
Because one without the other isn't enough.
Exactly. That's the only way Africa can truly start setting its own economic terms, its own value.
That shared vision and Africa dictating its own value seems key for both the president and the content creator in their own ways. So, thinking about everything we've discussed, the global finance complexities, the trade issues, especially the hurdles facing the FCFTA. Here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
What specific practical infrastructure project, maybe a huge railway linking key cities or another expanded port or perhaps a new continental power grid, what single project do you think is the most critical missing link needed right now to truly unlock the full potential of that African continental free trade area? Something to chew on after this deep dive.